we get your general reactions to that game now that you've had a couple minutes to decompress?
I feel like I need a beer, but I'm right off of a cramping incident, so I'm probably going to pass on that. But yeah, that was a roller coaster. Obviously, the overtime was similar to Jacksonville, but Jacksonville, we were always kind of right even with them. This one we got down. I didn't play great in the first half, and then kind of threw the pick in the second half, and kind of rallied from there. So there were some big-time plays being made. A couple shout-outs, first of all, to Drew Sample, who played with a stomach virus and was feeling terrible, and we needed him really badly because these guys blitz a lot, and he's incredible in protection. Another one to Joe Mixon. No running back wants to sit there and just be in protection all day long, but that was kind of the best chance to put up some points and all that. He did a great job, and then our line, starting with Ted Karras, just the communication. There was very few protection calls I even needed to make. I can't even talk. I'm so tired. Because he directed the whole show, and it was a very exotic scheme, and so I just want to point out those three guys.
Your reaction to Higgins' touchdown catch?
Yeah, I would have included him too, but I think everybody knows that one's kind of obvious. I was hot. They brought a Fonzie pressure, I believe, and just had to drift and give someone a chance with it. And always feel good just throwing the ball up to T. There was a couple times this game where you just kind of throw it up to him, and good things seemed to happen, or we were really close on a couple times. And I'll just continue to keep throwing the ball up to him when those opportunities present themselves because he's very good at it.
So that was a blitz that you needed to get rid of.
Yeah. I haven't watched the tape or anything, but it was a pressure where they're bringing more than we can block, and it beats, whatever our protection call was. So I was hot off of, I think it was Harrison Smith, and just drifted away and threw it up.
Can you take us through the play at Thailand, the 44-yarder?
Yeah. They blitz a lot. They drop a lot. A lot was made about the scheme. It's a really good scheme, but that was kind of part of it is they drop a lot of people. So I don't know if there were 3 or 4 rushing there, but I believe it was 3. And so there's not a lot of timing plays that are open when they drop 8. And so Pitch, our quarterback coach, had said that – I'm going to move that back that I'm going to need to move around and make some plays with my legs. Throughout the whole week, he had kind of been saying that, and so that's kind of where that came. Did a good job coming back at a friendly angle. I think T thought he was getting the ball as well, so they kind of crossed full speed. TB got the ball, and I think that's kind of what sprung him on the run. Is half the DBs think T's about to catch it, the other half think TB's doing it. Everybody just kind of ran into each other, and so. I thought he was going to score, but then I was glad, he's with ball security. I think if that was the second quarter and not the end of the game or that situation, he probably would have scored.
How about the 3rd and 20, whatever you draw chase?
Yeah, I think that came open because we ran a similar play earlier in the game where I missed Charlie Jones down the middle. And so when you throw one of those and they were playing a lot of, too deep and having someone run the middle, once you throw one of those early in the game, you got to respect it later. And so I think that was kind of a product of that.
What was it like? What was it like out there? You were obviously very cool, but it was very loud, and it was very, things were just like going a mile a minute. You had T get mauled, you had, no flag.
Your words, not mine.
What's going through your mind? What's going through your mind when all this is happening? Is it as loud as you had ever heard it?
Yeah, it was loud. Our fans definitely, had their one more drink and came to the game. So you definitely felt it when the defense was on there, and then just the energy in the stadium was really good. I'm kind of in a position where I just detach from that, and I feel like the louder it gets, the quieter it gets just in my own head, I guess. But yeah, I think that played a big factor. There were some false starts, delay games. It was tough for them to communicate, and it was a fun atmosphere to play in.
Why do you think the offense was able to kind of find a gear in the fourth quarter after kind of the 3 quarters just not finding a rhythm?
I mean, like I've said before, it's not as bad or as good as you think on tape. But my first half was pretty bad, I thought. And so at halftime, it was basically like, all right, that was a bad first half. Like, just get it back together. Then I came out and threw a pick. And I just basically told myself, like, okay, that was a bad decision. Just keep rallying. And but I felt really good about our scheme. Like, there was a lot made on the defensive scheme, which it's tough. Like, it is a hard scheme to deal with, and they do a great job with so many different people in so many different positions and presenting a lot of different looks. But I guess another shout out to Brian Callahan. First thing he told me when we came in the building, what would that be, on Tuesday, was, I think you're going to throw for 500 yards. I was like, okay, sounds good. But that kind of set the tone for the week. Like, hey, we're going to keep attacking and don't let, they're an attack blitzing defense, and don't let that get you into a shell. Like, keep attacking. And so I think we were able to keep that mindset and finally put together some points.
You talked about Mixon. What was his, okay, the pass pro, if you can get into that a little bit, but he also makes one of the plays of the game, stopped in the backfield on 4th and 1, scores the touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Mixon's like a battering ram. So I just feel like the more touches he gets, the more, he kind of is our tone setter on offense. It starts with the O-line, but when he's able to, when they put 11 guys on the line of scrimmage and in the box, and we're still able to run the ball, because there's going to be one that's unblocked, and you just got to run him over. And he's really good at that. He's a battering ram. And then also to be able to hand off like an inside zone, and all of a sudden he's bouncing and running around everybody. To have a running back that can do both is huge.
Jake, did you see the 4th down stop in the overtime period? And what does that say about those guys, that they literally didn't give up an inch on back-to-back?
Yeah. I mean, I think one part of that was calling timeout right before the 3rd down. The first time they tried to just get on the ball and snap it quickly, and we called a timeout, which, lets us get set and lets us really come off the ball too. And yeah, I mean, it's impressive. It's 3rd and 1, 4th and inches with the game on the line. And I mean, everybody's going to talk about the Tyler Boyd throw and catch, but I mean, if they get that, they're probably kicking a field goal and winning the game.
Well, last month you made it pretty clear you're trying to stay even keeled. Earlier this week you spoke about the Steelers' loss and said because you were involved in that game, it hurt more than typical losses had. On the flip side, as a comeback win in overtime, does that feel even sweeter?
Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not a good feeling. It's much better than losing. I think the emotional roller coaster is part of the game, and part of that is just me staying even keel. But there was definitely a little extra part of just before the game. Like, I remember getting cut there the last time, and just being told like, hey, we might have a spot for you on practice squad. Like, go to the hotel and wait. And so I sat in the hotel for like a couple hours, not knowing if I had a job or not, and then just basically got a text or a call from my agent that they didn't tell me. Like, I had been there for 2 years, and I've been cut my fair share of times, and that was probably the shittiest one. And there was a little bit more this week. I know I denied it, and there's some great people over there. It's completely different coaching staff and everything. And I want to emphasize, like, there are some incredible people over there, but that one felt good. I think right after we made the field goal to win the game, I screamed at a camera and said they never should have cut me.
Jake,
Did you know earlier in the week then, when you said it to us, that you were going to just play it down until afterwards?
Yeah, I mean, you can't say that the whole week and then go lose. You just wait until you win, and then don't look like an idiot.
Jake, as the starting quarterback of this team, you guys won 3 straight. What's your confidence level in leading this team into the playoffs?
High, but I think we're going to play an important game next week, play the Steelers, and I played terrible against them last time, so I'm pretty focused on that.
T talked about it was time to be the alpha when Jamar went out. When Jamar goes out and you're obviously tasked with winning the game, what's going through your mind without Jamar Chase on the field?
Yeah, I mean, Jamar's one of our best players, has been for a couple years, but sometimes that's just going to happen. I mean, it's a physical game. Stuff happens. He made an incredible catch. I think on the play where he got hurt he made the crazy 3rd and long catch over the middle that we referenced earlier. But, I mean, I think maybe T feels differently, but I feel like they're both alphas the entire time. Like that's a 1A, 1B, and I got a ton of comfort. And maybe T doesn't feel that way, but I throw it to him like he's going to be the alpha all the time. And so, it didn't really change my mindset. Obviously, you want to have Jamar out there, but Andre's done a lot of great stuff in practice, and I got a ton of confidence. And really, no matter who's out there, I'm going to throw to where the coverage tells me to throw, and it's on them to win. And so I think once you get outside of that mindset, that's when you start to make some bad decisions.
Given what you just said about the context for this game and what it means for you personally, how long do you kind of maybe savor this one as opposed to other wins before you move on to facing Pittsburgh next week?
I mean, it's nice to not be on a short week, so maybe a little bit longer, but I'll probably go to dinner with my family, probably get that posted on Twitter again, and then move on after that. Watch the film of it tomorrow and move on.
Your first game here, when you signed on the practice squad, was against this club, and you beat him in overtime. Now,
Yeah.
And now you're the guy doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it feels good to win, and I'm not sure where to take that one.
What, you shook your head after the interception. You shook your head all the way back to the sideline. What were you thinking after you threw that?
It was a dumb throw, and
Why?
because I threw it right to the corner, but also because I just felt like I usually do a good job of not pressing. I felt like I pressed there, like I was trying to make the play to get us back in and get us rolling when the guy underneath was open, so I should have just thrown it there.
Jake, you just kind of talked about your raw feelings when you found out you were cut by the Vikings. For T, given what he's gone through this year from an adversity standpoint and not getting his contract extension before the season, and the rib injury, then coming back, then the hamstring injury, and then just some uncharacteristic drops, how much sweeter does it make it for him as one of his teammates and the guy that threw him the ball to make that type of statement play in a really important game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of T. Higgins, whether, whatever his situation is with contract stuff and all that. Like, I've been the guy, I've never been that guy. Like, I've never been in that situation, but I've been the guy that you got personal stuff going on where you're maybe on a P squad, or for him, like, you want a contract. Everybody does. But I've never felt in the locker room that he's made it about that or anything like that. And so that speaks to his character. Really enjoyable guy to be around. And so I think anytime you have somebody like that, who's obviously it's a fortunate situation where you're right on the cusp of that, but maybe you feel like this close, then it's not happening. That can mess with people, and I haven't felt like that has messed with him at all. He's had some unfortunate injuries, but he's made some incredible plays, and I mean, I don't really care if he has some drops. Like, if he makes crazy plays like that, I'll just keep throwing him the ball, and good things are going to happen.